Sometimes we just can't have nice things. Today, though, we get to understand why, and we get to see that, well, guess what? Sometimes the people who are in charge of producing video games don't actually care about those video games in the sort of sense of video games as an art form, as an experience, because today we have got ex-Rockstar developers confirming the death of story DLC at the altar of selling more shark cards, a literal money printing machine. Which is actually something that I would call a curse, because it's not a free money printing machine. No, this is a machine. It consumes developers. It outputs engagement. Engagement, though, is not quality. It certainly gets you hooked on a screen, but does it give you those moments in gaming, those amazing, say, narratives? That mission, that level that you'll never forget? No, this sort of thing does not give you that. And that's why I would far rather earn our keep and not have some sort of bizarre free infinite money machine by suggesting that you check out bellular.games, because over there you get our videos early, you get them ad free, you get the research reports before I even see them, and of course loading screen, our daily newsletter. It is the perfect daily read, and right now we are working hard on a next major version update that you'll see soon. But okay, thank you members, and with that said, let's talk about some GTA. Take-Two Interactive are certainly one of the villains of the channel recently. I mean, as an example, just take a look at this entire story with Kerbal Space Program 2. It basically shows them at their worst in just about every way. Now, the crazy thing is that to get our point of comparison, we've got to go all the way back to GTA 4. It's a game that was quite different. It did have some flaws, but it's almost universally agreed upon that the DLC was a refinement of all of the good, all of the promise that that game had. They were damn good expansions. They were critically acclaimed, people loved them, and they were so good that Xbox spent $50 million to have them be exclusive for their platform. So, whenever GTA 5 launched, people got excited, especially with the way the story of Trevor, Michael, and Franklin went, right? The whole swapping into the different characters. It was cool. It was novel, and Rockstar even announced story DLC in 2013. They said this: GTA 5 story mode updates. For those ready to jump back into the story of GTA 5, we have big plans for substantial additions in 2014. Suffice to say, those didn't happen. By May 2014, a patch actually accidentally revealed the existence of a DLC via a bunch of menu triggers. And what really caught people was an Agent Trevor expansion that seemed to have loads of updated content. But of course, we all know how the story went. No story DLC happened. A few of those, character beats, those happened as a part of GTA Online updates, but none of that was high-quality single-player content. Now, of course, I think we all knew that this was the case. We all could intuit it. And in 2017, Rockstar Director of Design Imran Shawar suggested in an interview that essentially the spiraling impact of the next-gen version of the game, which, remember, this came out on the 360 and the PS3, must have been a total nightmare to actually, have function on those consoles. Then it was next gen, then it was PC. That was a hell of a lot of technical development work. Then there was the online support, and also Red Dead Redemption 2. And so back in 2017, he basically said that those are the reason why we did not see that story DLC. It of course made sense to everybody. During that time though, GTA Online was quite literally a money printer. The game and the shark cards just meant that it was constantly in sales charts. And that was before roleplay, right? And if you're not aware, GTA roleplay basically exploded as a content creation thing. It gets crazy numbers, and I suppose when it kicked off, it was a bit of a revival, an upsurge for the game. Anyway, the unspoken truth, right, is that GTA Online was simply more valuable than any potential returns on an expansion. What's funny, though, is Red Dead 2 Online. Red Dead 2 Online, which is essentially something that they've just sunset and forgotten about. And that's because they weren't able to get GTA Online levels of player engagement and spend. So it's not even a world where we're talking about not getting Red Dead 2 DLC. It's actually a world where Red Dead 2 Online doesn't really get much effort because GTA Online is so damn big. Now, this was all assumptions and vibes. What's changed, though, is an interview with Rockstar senior camera artist and virtual cinematographer Joe Rubino with San Play on YouTube as a sort of a special 100th episode. And this is essentially what he said, edited down for clarity. His team was split to work in GTA DLC or Red Dead Redemption 2, and ultimately what happened is they got about half of a DLC done, then all work, right, just all hands on deck was moved to GTA Online. Here's the quote from him. GTA Online was so much of a cash cow and people were loving it so much that it was hard to make an argument that a standalone DLC would outcompete that. which of course makes sense. It just would not pay to do that kind of thing. It's the kind of thing that's abundantly obvious now, and I suppose probably was then. Now, Joe did say that in hindsight, like, it was profitable enough that basically they could have done both at once. And ultimately, the DLC dying is basically something that left him feeling pretty sour. He was pretty frustrated because, as he said, they basically got halfway through making a DLC and then the thing was shit-canned in favor of just more GTA Online forever. Now, the dynamics of all of this between, I suppose, organizations within an organization are interesting to me. Take-Two will obviously want Rockstar to be working on the highest ROI things, because it's not just about making money, obviously, it is about making the most money. To do an example from Blizzard, why make StarCraft 3 when you could make something that inherently, because of its genre, could be way bigger? I guess the point is, once you reach a certain scale, you're literally not in the business of making certain types of games. And if Rockstar management were being grilled by Strauss Zelnick's management team at Take-Two, what would they say? How could they financially justify not putting all they can into GTA? And to extrapolate that to the generic case, well, why would you make a whole bunch of paid, high-quality content for people when you could just hook them in on some sort of live service game that is very compelling and just spend dev time making cosmetics for them to buy? That really is why we can't have nice things. And what I want to bring into this is a little game, a tiny game called Elden Ring, and an expansion, because we can all point to Erdtree and basically say, well, hey, look at that expansion. And I know this is absolutely cherry-picking, but the grim side of this is we've cherry-picked a ridiculously successful example just to show how overpowered this amazingly cherry-picked example is compared to something like GTA Online. So let's do some numbers. Elden Ring had somewhere in the region of 25 million sales before Erdtree launched. Erdtree, 5 days after launch, had shifted 5 million copies. That's basically a 20% attach rate, which is absolutely insane for the industry. Like, that is Nintendo-like numbers, and again, that's only after 5 days. Now, the revenue for this at $40 a pop with 5 million sales is basically around $400 million. Thing is, though, well, you've got to take into account platform stuff. So you're losing 30% on Xbox and PlayStation. You'll be losing some to chargebacks, some to refunds, which I think will have been a bit more of a case here than they would have expected. But certainly you could say that after all is said and done, you're maybe looking at like a 200 million, a 250 million, which is a lot of money. And hey, this is all built atop a base game. Learning from all of that stuff, maybe reusing some assets. It took 2 years to produce, but certainly that's a lot of money in 5 days, and this is a DLC that will have a long tail. Thing is, though, as I said, this is one of the most cherry-picked examples you could possibly do for an expansion or DLC selling well. So let's just compare that to a bad quarter worth of revenue for GTA. The quarter specifically is Q1 2022. And, I mean, it was a sad one. I remember Q1 2022. It broke my heart for Take-Two investors because it only made $200 million during that quarter. And to properly get the mood from that, let's look at a tweet from back in 2022. This one is from Derek of Tweaktown, and this is what he said. GTA franchise earnings are down to pre-pandemic levels. Yes, it is so over. GTA made $202 million in Q1. This signals a few things. Comparatively lower GTA Online revenues, copies of GTA 5 sold at a discount, and Trilogy sales have nosedived. So yeah, a bad quarter is $200 million. And I think we can all say that's a hell of a lot less input than Shadow of the Erdtree took. Like, if you're not aware, Erdtree was a single expansion that took an entire team 2 years to produce. It ended well, but guess what? That was money in 2 years' time. How about you maybe guarantee money now? Right? Cosmetics, subscription benefits, many purchasing opportunities. Do all of those. So if you're in the C-suite and you've got shareholders breathing down your neck, basically saying, your quarterlies, we want those to be good. We want to be seeing growth, because guess what? There's a whole bunch of other companies out there, and they are growing faster than you, meaning I'm losing money compared to what I could be earning if I keep my money with you. Because look, the reality is a lot of investing is not like a long-term buy and hold. We fundamentally believe in the, fundamentals of this company. No, actually quite a lot does change based on quarterly and year-over-year numbers. And there are complex reasons for that I'm not going to bother to get into here because that's really out of scope for this video. Point is, if you're that CEO, what do you want to do? A single expansion that's going to take an entire team 2 years to make, that will release once to under 30% of an audience and then have a long tail of sales. That could be successful. As with Erdtree, it also may not be successful. What is important though is the unknown, because that's revenue in 2 years. You could do that, or you could just get to work right now with cosmetics right now this quarter. Subscription benefits you can do right now. If you care about money, the answer obviously is going to be to do that, because from their perspective, it's short-term results that they can predict, that they can kind of build a model off. The thing is though, and I would certainly argue, that's trading off the fumes of your success. And in the case of GTA, it has undeniably been a just stupendous money printer for them. Thing is though, doing new content, right? Maybe doing that Erdtree-like DLC or a new game, that's actually really important, because what that does is that upskills your staff. It maybe upskills new leaders within your company who can go on to lead new games, maybe lead new teams. It allows for experimentation space in mechanics, building up new assets, learning how to be a better developer, and then the holy grail, IP, long-term, brand value, emotional connection. That kind of thing, right? With the Overwatch store, with the Diablo store, with GTA Online, yeah, you might be having some fun with your friends, but basically that stuff is all junk food. It's not really creating a strong emotional link. Do you know what does that? Story. It is games actually being artistically strong, which is obviously the opposite of the way that games like this are going to be ran. The opposite of the mercenary decision making. That's why when you look at Apex Legends, instead of thinking, my god, Apex Legends, I wonder all of the things that they may be able to do now that they have this amazing brand. Are they doing those cool, daring things? No, they're not doing that. As we literally just covered, they're working out how to just get more money from the same thing. Something that will probably juice up their numbers now, but will probably set them up for future failures. And that gets to a fundamental thing. Why invest in the future when you can profit from the present? So if you want to know why things are a bit shit, I think that line basically just sums it up. That's basically it, isn't it? I mean, whenever I saw that line in this report, I thought, oh my god, Connor has basically he has captured the entire thing in one super goddamn powerful, line. So that's amazing. To support what the likes of Connor does, you can always check out bellular.games. And if you are a little bit curious about what's going on in the land of Apex Legends, which is very much a don't build the future, just profit from the present, well, check out this video next. Thanks for hanging out today, and I'll see you over there.